Released 3 years ago today, The Batman marked Robert Pattinson's debut as the Dark Knight, offering one of the most grounded takes on the character. The journey to bringing this film to life, however, was as epic and daunting as Gotham City itself. The film initially began as a project for Ben Affleck, who had portrayed Batman in Batman vs. Superman and Justice League. In 2016, Warner Bros. Announced that Affleck would not only star in a standalone Batman film, but also co-write and direct it alongside DC Comics writer Jeff Johns. Their script was titled The Batman. However, in January 2017, Affleck announced that he was stepping down as director, citing the importance of focusing on delivering his best performance. He stated, "The role demands focus and the best performance I can give. It has become clear that I cannot do both jobs. I have decided to find a partner in a director who will collaborate with me." The search for a director saw names like Denis Villeneuve, George Miller, and Ridley Scott circulating in Hollywood rumors. Warner Bros. Wanted Planet of the Apes director Matt Reeves, who eventually signed on after some contract negotiations. Reeves and Affleck briefly collaborated, but within weeks, Warner Bros. Announced that Affleck was leaving the project entirely. Reeves then took over completely, rewriting the script with Peter Craig and planning to cast a new actor as Bruce Wayne/Batman. Several actors were considered for the role, including Nicholas Hoult, Armie Hammer, and Aaron Taylor Johnson, but Reeves had one person in mind from the start: Robert Pattinson. As he was writing the script, he envisioned Pattinson as Batman. For his final audition, Pattinson wore Val Kilmer's Batman Forever suit and even took a selfie in it just in case he didn't get the role. His audition took place while he was rehearsing for Tenet. He told director Christopher Nolan it was a family emergency. Nolan, however, saw right through him, replying, "You're doing the Batman audition, aren't you?" When Pattinson secured the role, Nolan congratulated him before he had even told anyone. To prepare for the role, Pattinson dyed his blonde hair dark. Then, after the grueling 14-month shoot, he shaved his head completely. Unlike past Batmen, Pattinson and Reeves decided not to adopt a deeper voice when donning the Batsuit, making this Bruce Wayne stand apart. The search for Selina Kyle/Catwoman saw extensive auditions, with Ana de Armas, Hannah John Kamen, Natalie Emmanuel, and Alicia Vikander all in contention. Lady Gaga reportedly lobbied hard for the role as well. Ultimately, Zoe Kravitz was cast, having previously voiced Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie. Kravitz brought personal touches to the character, including designing Catwoman's long, unpainted nails to resemble claws. The role of the Penguin initially went to Jonah Hill, but he declined. Reeves then approached Colin Farrell, who had recently gained weight for a different role. Farrell accepted but refused to keep the extra weight, so a fat suit was created. Originally, the Penguin was supposed to closely resemble Farrell, but makeup artist Mike Marino had other ideas. The transformation involved 6 pieces of facial prosthetics. To save time in the makeup chair, Farrell shaved half his head, making it easier to apply the wig. Farrell described his son's reaction to seeing him in full costume as utterly horrified. He even tested the disguise by visiting a Starbucks as the Penguin. No one recognized him, though he received some odd looks. Paul Dano was cast as the Batman's main antagonist, the Riddler. Barry Keoghan had submitted an audition tape wearing dollar store props, but Reeves had always envisioned Dano in the role. Dano took his preparation seriously, studying real-life serial killers, though he limited his reading to public places to avoid over-immersing himself. He struggled with sleep due to the claustrophobic costume, saying, "My head was throbbing with heat." DC Comics was so impressed with Dano's portrayal that they asked him to write a 6-issue Riddler, Year 1 series based on his version of the character. For Lieutenant Jim Gordon, Mahershala Ali was originally sought after, but had scheduling conflicts with Blade. Instead, Reeves cast Jeffrey Wright, who had previously voiced Batman in Batman: The Audio Adventures. Andy Serkis was hired as Alfred Pennyworth, despite some reports that Pierce Brosnan was a contender. Reeves' version of the Batman greatly differed from Affleck and John's script. Their version centered around Deathstroke as the main villain, played by Joe Manganiello. In Justice League, a post-credits scene had even set up this storyline. Reeves drew inspiration for the Riddler from the real-life Zodiac killer. Like the Zodiac, the Riddler used cryptic ciphers and greeted authorities with "This is the Riddler speaking," a chilling nod to "This is the Zodiac speaking." Classic Batman comics such as Ego, Year 1, and The Long Halloween shaped the film's themes and narrative style. Reeves infused noir and crime thriller influences, citing Batman illustrator Francesco Francavilla. Visually, Gotham took cues from Gotham by Gaslight. Bruce Wayne, meanwhile, was inspired by Nirvana's Kurt Cobain, an influence highlighted by the use of Something in the Way in the film's trailer. Filming choices helped bring the 1970s style aesthetic to life. Although shot digitally, the footage was converted to film and back to digital for an authentic look, a technique cinematographer Greg Fraser previously used on Dune, Part 1. The Batmobile was based on Neil Adams' 1970s depictions, resembling a heavily customized muscle car. Reeves described it as a horror figure. Production began in January 2020, but was halted in March due to COVID lockdowns. It resumed in August, only to pause again when Pattinson tested positive for COVID. In total, filming spanned 14 months. To prevent infection, Reeves operated in a fully wrapped-up suit resembling a burrito, while he and Pattinson communicated via earpieces. "If it was a tense scene, you'd suddenly hear his breathing accelerate," Pattinson said. "It was a strangely intimate experience." The film's Gotham City was largely shot in Liverpool, England, due to its striking architectural style. One of Batman's most iconic lines in the film, "I'm vengeance," was Pattinson's idea. He insisted on whispering it as the criminal lost consciousness, ensuring it haunted his dreams. The meticulous nature of filming extended to key scenes. Reeves conducted 200 takes of the Riddler's phone call to Batman, even allowing Dano to film on a real phone. The intense prison cell scene between Batman and the Riddler required 70 to 80 takes, with Dano constantly shifting between eerie amusement and explosive rage. Colin Farrell's improvised line, "I got you, had to be integrated into the VFX-heavy car explosion scene, forcing ILM to extend the sequence. Barry Keoghan, after failing to secure the role of the Riddler, was cast as the Joker instead. To maintain secrecy, fake scenes were shot of him as a Gotham police officer, but leaked set photos led to rumors of him playing Officer Stanley Merkel. Reeves envisioned the Joker's permanent smile as the result of a congenital disease, influenced by Conrad Veidt's look in The Man Who Laughs, the inspiration for the original Joker in the 1940s. The Batman became Warner Brothers' first post-pandemic film to skip a simultaneous HBO Max release. Despite this, it grossed $770 million worldwide on a $185 million budget, cementing its success. As a final mystery, the film's end credits included a link to radolata.com, http://radolata.com, the Riddler's website, where fans could engage with cryptic messages. The site is still live today, albeit seized by the Gotham City Police Department. From casting shifts to pandemic-induced delays, the journey to the Batman was as turbulent as the streets of Gotham. But in the end, Reeves, Pattinson, and the entire team crafted a distinct, layered, and unforgettable take on the Dark Knight.